Joining us here on the program is the general manager of the Chicago Bears, Ryan Poles. How are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Where have I found you? Where are you right now?
At training camp. We just finished up practice.
Okay.
Good practice. Got that day off yesterday, and excited about first padded practice tomorrow.
Okay, let's just jump into the story that went viral over the weekend involving your rookie tackle, Ryan. Is it true that the kid that you drafted 10th overall out of Tennessee, a great institution of higher learning, prepared for a conditioning drill for wide receivers instead of tackles, and then he crushed it because he's an offensive tackle that was preparing for a wide receiver drill? Did that actually happen with Darnell Wright?
That actually happened. It actually happened. So I got an idea of what's going to happen next year in terms of the program that he gets.
Okay. And what? So how did this happen? What gives? Did he read the wrong PDF come in his inbox? What happened, Ryan?
Yeah, he must have looked at the wrong PDF. But I tell you what, the results were great. He was in shape. His weight was down. His lean mass was up, and that conditioning test was easy. He barely broke a sweat, which was good to see. So,
and did you know this happened prior to him actually admitting publicly that he prepared for the wrong conditioning test at all?
No, I had no clue. No clue.
You learned it, but just like the rest of us. All right, so then this stands to reason. Follow-up question here is he now demanding a tackle eligible route to be added into the tree there in your offense, Ryan?
Yeah, I think we got to think about it now. The beautiful thing is he moves so well. We might be able to pull it off.
What'd you like about him that you drafted him? You and I haven't spoken since the draft. What'd you like about him?
Yeah. Just there's that combination of size and athleticism that's really hard to find. And then in terms of what we're trying to do up front is just be a really tough unit. And he's a prick sometimes, and he finishes. He's got the mean streak, which I absolutely love. So that's contagious as well. So that group of five should be playing at a different level this year.
Okay, I like that. That's quite a scouting report right there, Ryan. So let's walk through the biggest decision that was made by anyone in the non-playing season, and that was you having the first overall pick gifted to you. I'm hitting the Wayback Machine here. You knew I was going to go here anyway, I'm sure, when you knew I was looking for you to come on the show. And you made the decision to stick with Justin Fields. Was that a decision you made immediately, never wavered from? Walk me through that one, because obviously that set up the rest of what you were going to do, not just this year, but for years to come. Ryan? Yeah, no,
we had to take our time with that decision. You never want to be in that spot, but opportunities can present itself, to improve your football team. We just had to figure out how we wanted to do that. So we went through the whole process. We had to look at all of the quarterbacks and then kind of see how can we impact our team, in the biggest way. And I was really encouraged on the way Justin played in terms of making plays, and I'm excited to see him take that next step as a passer. And I really believe if we can get both things going, it could be a really dangerous combination and help our team get to the next level. And then at the same time, it's as a decision maker and a team builder, it was a cool opportunity to improve our team today and this year, but also set us up for success, with draft capital down the road as well. So we could do both things at the same time, which got us excited. And I thought it worked out really well.
No, I mean, my gosh, forget the draft capital, which obviously you're not going to. That's your job. The fact that you get to keep Justin Fields and get DJ Moore for him is what one would call a value add. So was that always part of the package with Carolina when you were going to go there? Just like you could, we'll take one of the best receivers that few people talk about and stick him here in Chicago, Ryan?
Yeah, there's a lot of different scenarios, but that was one that I was convicted about for sure. Which obviously well documented. It was really hard for Carolina to get to that point. But I was excited to get him in the building. And I tell you what, if you're at training camp and you see the plays that he's making and the chemistry him and Justin have built so far, you got to be excited for what the season is going to look like.
Walk me through that chemistry part, because obviously that's something you have a front row seat to, and we don't. What do you got for me there?
Yeah, anytime you add, a new receiver, there's a timing element that's got to be put together, and they got to know what yardage to get to in terms of their routes, and also kind of understand the speed the receivers can give. How are they when they get out of the top of their route? And you can see that flow. You can see anticipation from Justin, which is really cool to see, and also trust. There's a trust element. Can you just let it rip and let your guy go make a play? And we've been able to see that from him so far in camp. And obviously we got a long ways to go before the season, so I only think it's going to get better.
So do you feel it would be a plus if Justin Fields does not run for 1,143 yards this upcoming season? I'm serious. I know that sounds like a facetious question, but is that the plan? Because I know things are quite analytics driven, numbers driven. Is that something you got on your drawing board there?
I don't think it's ever the plan. I do think with increased protection and more weapons to throw to, he won't need to run as much, but you sprinkle that in and obviously having the threat to do that on occasion, maybe not at the same volume. Again, it's going to be a hard thing for a defense to prepare for.
Okay, Ryan Poles, the general manager of the Chicago Bears, here on the Rich Eisen Show. I'm sure you get this question maybe when you're out and about. So let me add to it. What is your stance, your take on the current state of the running back market in the National Football League and why we're seeing what we're seeing right now?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's interesting. What's not talked about a whole lot is just there is a salary cap, and when other positions explode and expand fast in the market, it has to be taken from somewhere. Maybe it's multiple positions. And I just think we've seen, the quarterback position, the defensive tackles, the pass rushers have exploded. So it is a pie that has to be adjusted as things move forward. So it does affect different positions. And I know the running backs are feeling that way. And then strategically, those guys have to make a decision in terms of, what's a good offer? What makes sense to them? For them and their careers and their families. It may not fit the stack that's been set up before them. But it's an interesting thing to see. We're fortunate right now, with Herbert and Foreman, we don't have to worry about that at the moment. So.
Well, but you're one of the 32 general managers of the National Football League and, roster builders. So I'll ask you, is that position number one on the list of positions where it's easier to find somebody out of college to give you the same analytic or actual production on the field as a 6th, 7th year veteran who might want a heck of a lot more money?
Yeah, that's definitely, a part of that process. There's been a lot of guys that were drafted in mid to late rounds that have done really well in the league. But I'd say this, I think, for the running back group, the more versatile that they can be, and I think that's why kind of McCaffrey's been the last one to be done. He can do so much, so I think it's going to be so important for those guys to really, expand the role and show that they can run routes and catch the ball and be a weapon out of the backfield. So I think that's going to help those guys kind of achieve what they're looking for.
Well, because again, I bet you Barkley would have taken the contract you just gave Cole Kmet, your tight end. You know what I mean? And I know I'm talking about somebody else on another team, but why did you feel comfortable giving a tight end a 4-year deal, $50 million, $32 million guaranteed? That sounds good for a running back right now, Brian.
No, with Cole, we were excited to get that done. He really reflects everything that we're looking for: dependability, durability, toughness, leadership in the locker room. He's part of this core group that's going to help us take that next step. Okay.
So let me ask you this question I've been seeing out there in the old Twitterverse or Xverse or whatever the heck it's being called now. I'll ask you, as a GM in the NFL and somebody who's been around this for a while, would you, if there's a kid at age 14, 15, 16 in high school with some significant ability, would you counsel him to stay at running back or change positions for longevity and success financially in the NFL? What advice would you give that person right now, Ryan Poles?
Yeah, whatever position that they're really good at, I would say, stick with that. Like, I wouldn't worry about changing changing positions for all this. Again, I would definitely tell them to make sure that they can do more, pass protection, catching the ball, all of those things. So I wouldn't talk. Be yourself and play the position that you were born to play, and let everything else kind of take care of itself.
Okay, and so even if it's running back, because again, it just feels, like that is the topic du jour right now, Ryan. And it just seems that the position is valued. If you're not someone like McCaffrey, who stands out, you're just not going to get the deal in the NFL right now. So that's why I throw that out there.
It's hard to speak on because and I don't know many people that are asking the question. I don't know what the teams have offered those players either.
Right.
I think you kind of have to know that before, we just say that there's, no market for them or a deal can't get done. It's what were some of the teams willing to do? I think that's kind of an important part of the equation.
And before I let you go, Justin Fields apparently turned down the opportunity to appear in that Netflix series Quarterback that a lot of folks are watching right now. Were you privy to some of his thought processes on that, and willing to maybe share some of what you may know about his decision, Ryan?
Yeah, no, I think they asked him independently. I wasn't part of that decision.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that it's always a balance, right? Like, I think there's a part of it that's obviously good for the game. It's access, which is really cool. But at the same time, it's invasive, and there's guys that want to, keep their private life to themselves and go about their business and not worry about maybe some of the distractions that come with it. So obviously he felt that way and wants to keep doing his thing, on his own with no cameras. So I respect that. And
so how are you feeling on the outset of this season? What would you say to Bears fans around the world right now about this roster that you and Eberflus are putting together in your mold right now? What would you say, Ryan?
I'd say, excited, really excited. You can see the difference from year one to year two. Guys are starting to understand, concepts and schemes and playing faster. The young guys are knowing what they're supposed to be doing, and then the additions that we've made, you can see those guys making plays on a daily basis, both on the offensive side and defensive side. I've been stoked with, T.J. Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds on the defensive side as additions, and obviously, Chase Claypool, DJ Moore, Mooney, those guys have been making plays for Justin as well. So it's a fun time. We're getting better. We're taking that next step, which obviously should lead to more wins and eventually, sustaining success and winning championships here in Chicago.
Yeah, man. I mean, you definitely are faster. There's no question this roster is a faster team than the one you inherited. That's for damn sure. There's no question about it. And that's by design, I imagine. Yes? I know it sounds ridiculous to ask, but I'll ask it anyway.
Yeah, always trying to get bigger, longer, faster, constantly.
Okay. Tell Coach I said hi, and that I'll be looking for him as well. And I appreciate your time during training camp.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Good. Yeah.
Well, good to chat with you too. That's Ryan Poles, the general manager of the Chicago Bears, here on the Rich Eisen Show. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.